you who do not know, my name is Alexis Beckenschneider. I'm currently chief of the Cedar Rapids Public Safety Cadet Program. This award ceremony tonight allows us to share everyone's accomplishments throughout the 2023 year. I want to give everyone a little bit of background on the program. After 56 years of the program being chartered through Police Explorers, the current cadets made the change at the beginning of this year to charter through the Public Safety Cadets. This is the first official year of the cadet program. I may have a bias, but I think this was the best year yet. This year was very busy. We all volunteered over 3,000 hours, added 11 new members, fingerprinted over 500 kids, attended over 15 community events, and traveled a lot. We traveled to Gatlinburg, Tennessee this past July to compete with other units from across the country, where one of the cadets placed third in both the physical fitness test and the written test. Some of the cadets also traveled to Waterloo to help at the Hawkeye Law Enforcement Academy, and one of our command members served as a representative to the Philadelphia Police Explorer Post. The unit covered many topics throughout the year, and we can all agree that we had the most fun with bike policing, traffic stops, burglary in progress, use of force, and of course, driving the squad cars. This year, a lot was accomplished from recruiting at area high schools and colleges, and changing the program to be part of public safety cadets. All these events and opportunities were possible because of the command staff. I would like to thank the command staff, Captain Travis Weininger, Lieutenant Safal Battein, Sergeant Chase Doherty, and Sergeant Keely Hansen for all your help this year, from helping get new members set up to spending countless hours making sure this year would be the best. I would also like to give a huge thank you to the mentors this year for their continued support of this program. It is because of Officer Sean Burke, Officer Dan Penn, Dispatcher Caitlin Crosey, and Volunteer Don Detweiler that we have been able to have this program continue. The cadets would also like to thank the over 20 officers who took the time to take cadets on ride-alongs throughout the year, and the guest speakers who took the time to train cadets on different training scenarios. And we would also love to give a huge thank you to the Cedar Rapids Police Department. For those unfamiliar, for every 40 hours a cadet gives to the program, a ride-along is earned. This is an opportunity for cadets to get first-hand experience with the public and an opportunity to meet new officers. All these ride-alongs sparked a project to be created this year called Beyond the Blue, where officers within the department and across the United States interview with the cadet, answering questions about themselves for the public to get to know the officer better. Feedback has been positive, and the future of this program will only grow. The Public Safety Cadet Program has taught me more than I could imagine. I remember joining the program back at the beginning of 2020, thinking to myself that this program would just fill an extracurricular activity and fulfill my criminal justice interests. Now it has turned into me wanting to work towards a career in public safety. I want all these cadets to remember that yes, this program is here to prepare dedicated young adults for a career in public safety, but this group is so much more than that. These are friendships and experiences that will last a lifetime. As Dan always said, you get what you put into the program, and that statement could not be more true. And remember to have fun. This is such an amazing program to be part of. It was an honor to serve as chief of the Cedar Rapids Public Safety Cadets Unit 107, and I can't wait to see the future of the program next year and years to come. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, welcome, guys. You guys' bellies full yet? No, they're not? Okay, go get more, because there's a ton of food up there. We need help eating it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to thank you again for joining us tonight at the Cedar Rapids Public Safety Award Banquet. For those of you who don't know, my name is Sean Burke. I've been a police officer with the police department since 2006 and have served as the head advisor for the Explorer Post, is what we used to be, and then now the Public Safety Cadet Program since 2010. I have a true passion for working with youth, and I want to thank all of you for sharing your children with us, this program, and this department. So thank you very much. Let's talk a little bit about who the Public Safety Cadets are. As mentioned by Alexis, the Cedar Rapids Police Department Explorer Program was organized in February of 1966. So I think you said that was, what, 56 years ago? So our police department has had a pretty solid run-in with this type of program, and it's done a lot of good over the years. We transitioned this year to be a part of the Public Safety Cadet Program, and we can't be happier. I think we're really, really enjoying it. So this program is designed to give young adults an opportunity to learn about a career in law enforcement by participating in ongoing training and community events. It's also designed to have the youth interact directly with officers who mentor them, provide advice with life decisions, as well as guidance through the hiring process for hopefully a career in law enforcement. So, I would like to thank our current interim chief, Chief Tom Yonker, who couldn't be with us here this evening, as well as Lieutenant Matt Welsh, who oversees our program. It's their continued support that kind of helps us get to where we're at now, as far as like new uniforms, using the facilities, helping us out with a lot of the old gear and that kind of stuff. It's their support that makes our program successful. So at this time, I'd actually like to invite Lieutenant Matt Welsh up here to say a few words about the program. So yeah.
All right. Thanks, Sean. Well, I'll probably end up repeating some stuff that Sean's going to share with everybody tonight, more in depth. But first of all, thanks to the families that allow your young adults to be involved in law enforcement. You know, obviously with the political environment, it's not always a popular thing to support law enforcement and the people that are in the profession. So truly thank you for doing that. Obviously the challenges that we face in law enforcement, one of the biggest challenges that we face is recruitment. We have had a number of openings over the last, I would say probably 4 or 5 years. And just getting the numbers, when I first applied in 1994, honestly, I think there was probably 500 people there that tested that day, and probably similar numbers for Dan and Sean. And, you know, as we continue through the challenges that we face, typically we might get 100 applicants right now that are interested. We're looking to hire between 7 and 10, and of that 100, we're going to have a few that are going to show up that won't be able to do the physical, the others that won't be able to do the written, and then they won't be able to pass the polygraph, so that'll bring our numbers way down. So a program like this, getting young adults interested in law enforcement is very valuable. And as it stated, the police department, we've had the Explorer program for a lot of years, and we were probably one of the first agencies to have a program like that. And I think that was the leadership understood that it's important to get young adults involved in law enforcement and get a passion for it, because you truly have to have a passion for this job and enjoy coming to work every day. Because some days, I always tell the recruits I've been on, coming up on 29 years, and I always say that you have long days in your career, but the years fly by. And it's really unbelievable how fast it goes. Friday I'm gonna go meet with my financial guy as we talk about retirement. My wife starts seeing all these crazy numbers. I'm like, whoa. Not quite retiring quite yet. So, but from a leadership standpoint, obviously I want to thank Officers Burke, Kent, Caitlin, and Don for their leadership in the program and being quality mentors for all of you to aspire to be, bounce ideas off and get advice. And I know some are going to be potentially interested in moving forward in law enforcement. When you do, just make sure you always fall back on your resources, because you know a lot of things. There's a lot of things that you might face when you're going through an application process, whether it's questions, the testing, the physical test, or an academy, or anything like that. Just make sure that you're asking those questions, because it's very important as law enforcement continues to grow and the challenges that we face. Obviously, it's been touched on a little bit, changing over from the Explorer to the Cadet program. There's been a revamp. I know a number of you have been involved in the program. I think the uniforms, Sean, and I don't know who all was involved, but I think just the patches and getting that in line with our patches, it really is a nice touch, and I think it really looks good. I like the uniforms. I've said a number of times they've been at the department, and I really like how professional the uniforms look. So that's awesome. And then from a department standpoint as well, it's a valuable program. We appreciate the support that the cadets have helped us out this year. I know 2 of the programs that I have a lot of passion for is the Shop with the Cop, and then the Feeding the Veterans for Meals, and they've participated in both those. And that's just 2 programs of probably a list of 30 that they've done here in the community. And so obviously volunteering time, there's a lot of officers in this department that are involved in charitable or volunteer opportunities, and the Explorers or the cadets are right up there with being involved with that department-wide. Obviously, like I said before, as we continue to try to look for future applicants in law enforcement. I know our department's hired at least 2 explorers.
We're up to 5.
5, okay. And then Marion PD's hired explorer too, so that's important. And again, the experiences that you're gonna get through this program kind of give you a little bit of a taste of what an academy's like. And then once you are hired, you get to see what the bike patrol testing is kind of like. And if you want to be a driving instructor, you get to experience all that. So all that stuff's kind of fun and exciting. So, and I'm sure it'll be touched on here later, but I know that a group went down to Tennessee this year, and I know there were a couple of awards awarded for outstanding performance by our cadets. So that's awesome, and again, that falls back on the great mentors that we have within the program. So overall, I appreciate the cadets. I appreciate your willingness to be a part of our department. We are a good department. We are in the process, obviously, of getting a new police chief, and I always tell people that our department is one that's not, we don't have corruption, we're not involved in police brutality. We are a good organization. We have one great internal candidate, and I don't know any of the other candidates. I think we'll know that here in a couple of weeks, the finals for that. But we are a good organization, and the cadets are a part of that. It comes with honesty, integrity, and having high character. So I thank you all very much, and thanks for being here. There's plenty of food. We had our holiday meal today at work, and it was tables full of food, and we actually have a couple of our guys that are, well, Dave's on it, I don't know if any of you know him. He's the most senior officer on our department. He's working overtime tonight, and I just left him, and he just got done eating like his 3rd or 4th round of chicken back. I think he's real excited because he's working till 9, and I'm bringing a fresh batch in about 8:30. So I'm sure he'll enjoy that. So, but again, thank you very much, and you all should be very proud of the hard work that you put forward in the program. Thank you.
Well, I think he did an amazing job because I didn't give him any talking notes, and he hit like every highlight that I'm going to hit again. So good job, Lieutenant. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about who we are, right? So our program is, it's run by mentors. So we have 4 of us currently right now, about to have 5 because we have another one we're going to add on for next year. But for this last year, we've had myself, Officer Dan Kent, Dispatcher Caitlin Froese, and then volunteer Don Detweiler. Next year, we're going to add again Charity Ansel. She just walked up here talking with somebody. She's a great asset we've had in the past as well. In addition, we have currently 18 cadets that are signed up right now. We're hoping to onboard some more. So friends, guys, remember your friends, bring your friends. All right. We have structured our program to pretty much mimic our department in regards to having a similar command staff, which is elected by their peers. So we have a cadet chief, we have a captain, a lieutenant, and 2 sergeants. And those guys basically help me and Dan and Caitlin and Don organize all of the uniforms and all of our equipment and set up guest speakers. They truly are the backbone of our program, so I appreciate them a lot. So throughout the year, though, we work our way through a set of top training topics where we typically go over specific laws relating to crime. We also teach them how to respond to the incident that we're discussing, and then eventually how to investigate the incident. So some of the topics that we go over include active shooter or unknown emergency. We also talk about arrest and search, where we teach proper handcuffing techniques, as well as how to search suspects involved in various crimes. We kind of touched over bike policing this year, which I think they liked a lot. We talked about burglary in progress, and of course everyone's favorite, the emergency vehicle operation. So this is probably, I don't know, would you guys say is your most fun meeting that we had? Yeah, probably. I can see all the smiles popping back up. Yeah. So we teach them how to actually operate and properly control an emergency vehicle, to understand the vehicle dynamics, how they respond to different things. They also get to hear throughout the year from different professionals, not only in the first responder field, but we bring in guest speakers from like the military, from different human service organizations around the area. We also talk to them about mental health and give them an introduction into first aid. This year, though, we introduced a couple new training topics, such as officer down rescue. We were fortunate enough to have our SWAT team medic, who's one of our sergeants, come in and instruct the cadets on a safe and quick way to rescue an injured officer. So that was kind of an interesting topic to kind of go over, and kind of puts a lot of things into perspective when you start talking about the realization of the job and the dangers of the job, but knowing that these guys, even in a scenario, perform flawlessly. So it was really, really good. We typically run them through room clearing exercises. We also teach them how to do subject stops. We even teach them how to investigate traffic accidents, you know, so next time they have a fender bender, they shouldn't be calling the police, they should be doing it themselves, right? No, call the police, make sure you get everything, you know, squared away as it's supposed to be. Another favorite training topic that they like a lot is the traffic stops. Don't know why, I guess. Maybe it's because every once in a while you have somebody run from the car, then you get to chase them down, throw handcuffs on. I think they really, really like that. But as we teach them and as they know, there is actually no such thing as routine traffic stop. So you never know what might be lurking in the back seat of someone's vehicle. Another highlight of this year was kind of actually headed up by Travis, is we had the Hawkeye Area Community College come down with their virtual reality headset, which is a simulated training exercise. So it kind of puts them in a VR situation. It's really different than the one that we have at our department, which is a interaction screen where you interact with the screen. The VR headset allows somebody to actually be on the other side and talk as if it's a real person you're talking with. The one that we have in our police department, it's all automated. So there's a list of like 4 or 5 different options that the instructor can choose from, and all that's dependent on what you say to the screen. So if we could mix the two of them, oh, that would be an amazing training simulator, but unfortunately we're stuck with one or the other. So, but basically all of the things that we teach these kids, all the training topics, they're all designed to help the cadets not only prepare for a career in law enforcement, but to prepare them for the Public Safety Cadets Biennial Summer Showdown Competition, which we took 6 cadets to in Gatlinburg, Tennessee this past July. And this is actually our first competition that we've been to since 2018, pre-COVID. So it was a long time coming, and I was so happy that we got to go, and they did amazing. While we were down there, the 6 cadets were split into 2 teams. You see there's only 5 names up there. That's because one of the cadets we took down, she was too old to compete. So we took her down as the team captain, and she just made sure everyone was where they needed to be and were doing what they needed to do. So, a couple things I want to point out. Team 1, Safal, Keely, and Naomi. If you'll notice, they got a couple high scores in active shooter and arrest and search. Arrest and search, even though they got 99 out of 100, it didn't get them in the top 3 for the podium, but they ended up being 5th place overall. So it was a huge, huge accomplishment. A lot better than we were expecting to do, which was amazing. But it also showed us that there's a couple things that we need to work on in our program, and that's burglary in progresses, and then try and get in front of the VR screen, which is the force options. It's kind of our use of force training scenario. We need to do a little bit more with that. But another shout I want to give is to Chase and Luke. You see there's only 2 names there. Sawyer! Sawyer unfortunately got sick before we left, so he wasn't able to join us, which is too bad. We really missed him. We kept looking for him the whole way down there. Kind of our inside joke. Everybody we saw Sawyer. I think we found Bigfoot too, didn't we not? So you'll see obviously that Chase and Luke were just 2 cadets, and they were competing against other groups that had 3, if not 4 cadets, and they did exceptionally well for just being 2 of them. So going into an active shooter situation, when you take a team of 4 and you have to address a threat that has some casualties and that kind of stuff, they did it with 2 of them, or most people did it with 4. And they got 91 out of 100. So I think they did an amazing job, just the 2 of them. So I think you guys did phenomenal. You should be proud of your accomplishments. But again, we are going to work on some of the other things to make sure that if we get those topics in the future, that we're going to be better prepared. So, all right. In addition to the team events, every single cadet that we had competed in the individual competition as well. There were 4 different ones that they competed in. One was airsoft, one was bike policing, one was physical fitness, and the other one was a sample written test. Here we actually had one of our cadets excel, and I'd like to take time to recognize her, and it's Cadet Sergeant Keely Hansen. So you're already standing because I was going to have you stand. But Keely placed third place overall in her age category for the females in physical fitness, and then third place overall amongst every single person that took the sample police written test. So she got the third highest score. So I think that's a huge accomplishment, and again, congratulations, Keely. All right, let's talk a little bit about what we do in our community. Guys, Lieutenant Welsh kind of talked on it about 2 of the events, but we went to a total of 15 different community events this year, which is some of the most we've ever done. We stayed pretty busy, and I don't know, I think it's pretty awesome that these guys are willing to take time out of their already busy schedules with high school and sports and everything else and come and just provide a service to our community. So just so you guys are aware, in 2023, our cadets volunteered over 3,000 hours combined in just 1 year. That's, I mean, literally more than a full-time job. I mean, most, if you do the math, full-time jobs are like 80 hours. So combined, they worked more than a full-time job in addition to our meetings and school and everything like that. So you guys are amazing. We also fingerprinted over 500 kids at all the different events that we did fingerprinting at. And then this year, again, we basically created a new friendship, I guess, with the Hawkeye Community College Regional Academy. It's a pretty awesome thing that these guys kind of generated on their own, I guess. They were able to go up to the Regional Academy and act as role players for all of the recruits that were attending the academy up at Hawkeye Community College. So when they were doing traffic stops, these guys were in the cars, being the unruly passenger, unruly driver, having to follow directions that these actual police recruits are hired by other departments or learning how to be cops. I think they did some room clearing. They helped out with field sobriety. Keely, you also got beat up a couple times for something?
I beat them up.
You beat them up? Okay. So it sounds kind of violent, but these guys absolutely loved it. They would go up kind of midweek, carpool up there, help out with some stuff, and then carpool back down. So it was a great way for them to just do some extra bonding and that kind of stuff. It's a really, really cool job. I know we're working on maybe doing some future partnering with them as well to kind of get these guys some more behind-the-scenes experience, which is amazing. So the other thing that we do and we love to do is we go out and we help out at the honor flights. If you guys have ever been to an honor flight, thousands of people go to welcome back their loved ones who are the veterans and that kind of stuff. Well, they all parked in the same parking lot, and there's only one exit, right? And it all feeds down to like 2 lanes. So we go out there sometimes when it's freezing cold, freeze our butts off, and we are trying to keep traffic moving as quickly and as efficiently as we can. And everyone's got their own separate job, and it just kind of shows how well we can work as a team. So it is a fun community event for us to do. Another thing that they do this year was the opportunity to role play in a mass casualty scenario that actually took place out at the Eastern Iowa Airport on one of the backup runways. In addition, before that, they actually did traffic control, which I think was amazing. And then they all got to be role players, and I think it's a great opportunity for them to see how all these multi-agencies can come together and work together to basically figure out a resolution to like a mass casualty type incident. So I think it's just an awesome way for them to get some more behind the scenes knowledge and experience of what takes place with these larger incidences. Lastly, one thing I like to point out, and I think is amazing for our program, is the continued tradition of having group bonding events, which basically helps foster friendships and trust amongst these guys. We don't have it written down how many different schools we represent, but you guys are going to all different schools, home schools. Some of you guys are in college, some of you guys are out of school, and it's like you have these friendships that you're going to have for years. And I think that's amazing. In addition, it just builds on that strength that you can trust each other when you're doing these type of scenarios and that kind of stuff. You know if someone's supposed to be watching your back, you know they're going to be watching your back. So I think it's great. All right, let's get into the good stuff. Let's talk about all the good these guys have done, and let's recognize all of that. So at this time, I want to recognize some of our cadets who have basically gone above and beyond. I will ask that you guys hold your applause until the end of each specific award, because some of them does have multiple recipients. And then cadets, when I call you forward, I'd like you to come up, receive your award from me. I'm going to call my friend Dan, come up here. You guys will go over there, you'll kind of get the photo taken with him. And then what I want you to do is kind of just hang out in the hallway. And then once we get all 2, 3, 4 of you for that category, I want to take one final picture of the group of you, all right? So, the first award that we want to talk about tonight is our tenure award. We like to recognize when each cadet has satisfied at least a year, if not multiple years in the program, and just kind of thank them for their service. So, let's see. The first person, what we call it would be Luke, would be a 6, so we're going to just hold on to his. And I'd like to have, well, Keely Hansen, come on up. You have, actually, did you not listen to my directions? Goodness gracious. I almost cried. Oh, you can still come up, Keely Hansen.
Dan.
So, just want to say thank you for completing. You've been in the program for more than a year, but we finally completed a full year based on when you registered, so it's fine. So go over there and you get your photography taken.
Come over there.
Naomi Scott.
You're okay.
Oh, there's only 2. You can clap now. Sorry. All right, I'm not going to lie. I'm supposed to be really professional at these things, but I can't help it. I can see from the blooper reel, right? All right. Next thing we want to recognize are some of the cadets who have served at least 2 years in the program. All right. First one is Mr. Safal Battein.
Double time. Double time.
Double time. Come on, drill sergeant. All right. Next would be Chase Doherty. Congratulations.
You're way here, but
All right. Next up would be Alexis. And the last one would be Mr. Travis Weininger.
thank you.
All right.
You take a picture of all of them.
Oh, wait, that's it. Clap now. Clap now. Thanks, guys, for giving 2 years or more. All right. The next award we'd like to talk about is our Community Service Award. Remember I said over 3,000 hours? Yeah, that's a lot. So, that doesn't all come with just one person. So, first I want to recognize the individual cadets who have earned over 100 individual hours of community service this year. And that is, well, Luke is not here. So Luke died. And then Naomi Scott. There's 4 people. Yeah. You just want to clap now. So quiet. All right. Let's talk about those that have given over 250 hours just this year. All right. Chase Doherty. And Travis Weininger. All right. Next is somebody who's given more than 500 for your 500 plus hours of community service. Yeah, I know. Oh, I forgot your name. And lastly is our top earner. All right. Something new that we did this year is we want to basically recognize those who earned an award called the Emergency Preparedness Award. And this is earned upon successful completion of training not only in advanced first aid and CPR, but basically how a unit would assist in a disaster, and has also participated in at least one disaster training exercise. So, again, these guys took it upon themselves to get themselves involved in the mass casualty event at the airport. I don't know if it's because they wanted to put an extra bar in there, so what, but they were like gung-ho on doing all this stuff, and I think it's amazing. But the two people that did this was Alexis Peckenschneider, and we're bringing both up at the same time, and Travis Weininger. Yeah, thank you. Okay, hold on. Burn calories before I get. Yes. All right. Let's talk about that competition that we went to in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So like I said, we had 6 people. Some of them already have their little ribbons or whatever, but we kind of want to give you a word and say thank you for coming, because it was a lot of work to raise all that money to go, and a lot of effort to come hang out with me for a whole week. Non-stop, morning, day, and night. I can be a little intense, I can. Yeah. All right. So let's bring them all up. So Flash, Chase, Luke, you're not here, Keely, Alexis, and Naomi. I got one for all of them.
Oh, it's all right. Do all 6 together.
I wasn't sure if we did.
Let's follow Chase. Yeah, you guys are fine. Stay there.
Yeah, just a group picture.
Shorties in the front.
So, I don't know if you guys have heard or if your cadets have told you yet, but the next competition is scheduled to be in Ontario, not Canada, California, in 2025. So, those of you who want to go, remember that it's a lot more money to go all the way to Southern California than it was to go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So, keep thinking about your fundraising efforts. All right? All right. Those 3,000 hours, you don't just get those by coming to an event here, an event there, a meeting here, a meeting there. You also don't get 750 volunteer hours yourself by coming to a meeting here, a meeting there. The way you get that much is you come to everything. All right? First time we ever had somebody do that was actually last year. We had someone do it again this year. That's only because she put her family on hold for their family Thanksgiving, which we truly appreciate that, Mom and Dad. So she was able to come help set up and start us off with one of our last events, and that is Alexis Peckenschneider. So thank you for basically all right. This next award, I think I've kept it secret the whole time. I don't know if anybody knows it yet. I know Dan knows it. Okay. But the cadets have been dying to try and figure out who won this. Last year they figured it out because they got to see the slideshow, and I think I've got the secret. So the next award is the Outstanding Cadet Award. This is given to the cadet who is recognized for their dependability, attitude, attendance, and contributions to the unit, department, and community. Votes were cast by each of the mentors, and this year's recipient is, oh wait, it's still not the picture. I already know who it is. It is Keely Hansen. It's a great accomplishment. Congratulations. All right. What's next? Oh. So we just want to recognize our current command staff. Those are the ones who basically help us kind of stay organized with everything, keep everything flowing, that kind of stuff. So this year our 2 sergeants were Chase Doherty and Keely Hansen. You guys can come up. Well, you stay there. I got to work for you. You can stay there. All right. We also want to recognize Sapal Batari, who was our lieutenant, Travis Weininger, who was our captain, and Alexis Peckenschneider, who was our chief. So thank you guys very, very much. We'll get one of you. All right. The cadet program is designed, like I said earlier, to give youth between the ages of 14 and 21 an opportunity to explore the career of law enforcement. And sometimes they decide that, you know what, this job really isn't for them. Or they see themselves doing something else and develop different career interests and eventually drop out. However, those that remain dedicated to this program can unfortunately only be involved until they reach the age of 18. You guys understood that, right? Until they reach the age of 21. So once you reach the age of 21, you can no longer participate past the end of the calendar year. However, we usually hope that you apply, all right, and we hope that you get hired so that we can continue to work with you as police officers. But this year, 2 of our cadets aged out of the program. Their last official day would be on December 31st. So we would like to recognize those 2, and they are Chase Doherty and Alexis Becker-Schneider. I want to thank you both for your service and your dedication to this program. So. I skipped all the ones for the command staff. I gotta find the other ones. I'll give you those at the end. All right. Lastly, we would like to announce who the new 2024 command staff positions are going to be held by. These are actually determined. They were already determined at our last meeting based on votes by each of the cadets themselves. So our cadet sergeants are going to be, I'm just going to say Kat, because I don't know if I'm going to pronounce Katia?
Just say that.
Katia?
Oh, good job.
Katia Seals and Naomi Scott. Our cadet lieutenant is going to be Safal Batari, again. And our cadet captain is going to be Travis Weininger, again. And our cadet chief is going to be Keely Hansen. So congratulations on you guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. It's kind of short and sweet. I didn't want to keep it too long. I just want to, again, thank you for sharing your kids with us. Please eat some more food. I know there's a giant cake back there with a big old logo that you guys have to cut into. We appreciate every one of you, and it's the dedication that you cadets are putting into this program that are making it as successful as it is. So, thank you guys, and again, this concludes this portion of the event, but please stay. I can turn the music back on, eat more food. Kind of, we can take a bunch of pictures if you want. I hired a professional photographer back there to snap away. He's got like a really big memory card, so we can take a bunch. So, thank you guys.